Hey, and welcome to the Explainer. Have you ever been at a family wedding or a birthday party and just wished you could share that excitement, that joy in Arabic? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're giving you the words to share your best memories with even more people.
So, I gotta ask, have you ever tried to talk about a favorite holiday or maybe a really fun family get-together in Arabic, but you just couldn't find the right words? It's a common feeling. But don't worry, you are in exactly the right place. We are going to fix that right here, right now.
All right. First things first, we have to start with the building blocks. These are the absolute essential words and phrases you'll need for any kind of celebration. Think of this as your personal starter pack for talking about all the happy occasions in life.
Let's kick things off with 3 activities that are at the heart of most parties. First up, we invite family. In Arabic, that's nad'u al-usra. Let's hear it. Nad'u al-usra. Beautiful. Next, a party isn't a party without this one. We make cake, which is nasna'u ka'ka. One more time for that one, nasna'u ka'ka. And of course, you've got to set the mood. We decorate the house, is nuzeyinu al-manzil. You're already off to a great start.
Okay, let's keep building. How about we send cards? That's nursalu bطاقات. Again, nursalu bطاقات. And for birthdays or big holidays, this one's a must. We give gifts, or نقدم الهدايا. And we can't forget the food. To say we made special meals, you'd actually use the past tense here. حضرنا عتمة لذيذة. Did you catch that? The verb ending changed. That little detail is going to be super important for telling your stories later on. And celebrations aren't just about family, right? They're about community. So here's another past tense example. We invited friends is دعونا أصدقاء. If you want to talk about being neighborly, we visit neighbors is نزور الجيران. And for those special religious holidays, you might say we go to the church or mosque, which would be نذهب إلى الكنيسة أو المسجد. Okay, so now we've got our building blocks. But just knowing the words is only half the battle. Using them correctly, well, that's the other half. So in this next part, we're going to put these words into action. I've got a few fun challenges for you to make sure you've really got the hang of it.
All right, you ready to play a little game? On the next slide, I'm going to show you a sentence. There's a tiny mistake in it based on the words we just learned. Your job? Find it. Let's see how you do.
Okay, here it is. نلعب بالهدايا. Now, نلعب means we play. And we just learned that الهدايا means the gifts. So the sentence literally says, we play with the gifts. Now think about it. Is that really the main thing you do at a party?
And there's the fix. The mistake was using the verb for play. Sure, you might play with your gifts later, but the actual act during the celebration is giving them. So the right way to say it is نقدم الهدايا. We give gifts. See? It's all about picking the perfect verb for the action.
You're doing awesome. Let's keep this momentum going. Round 2 is coming right up. Take a look at this next one and see if you can figure out what's a little bit off. So, here's our next sentence. نزور الكنيسة في البيت. Okay, let's break it down. We know نزور is we visit, الكنيسة is the church, and في البيت means at home. Put it together and you get we visit the church at home. Do you see where that doesn't quite add up?
Yep, you got it. You don't visit the church at home. The place and the action just don't match. The correct, natural way to say this is نذهب إلى الكنيسة, which means we go to the church. This just goes to show how important getting those little words, those prepositions and motion verbs, right really is.
All right, time for our final challenge. This one's a little more about grammar and making things sound smooth and natural. Take a look and think, how would you say this better?
تم دعونا الأسرة. Now, this basically means something like the inviting of the family was completed. It's technically not wrong, but it sounds really formal. Kind of clunky, It's not how people usually talk. So how can we make this more direct, more active? And the answer is just say it directly. Instead of that passive دعونا الأسرة, we just use the active form دعونا الأسرة. We invited the family. It's so much clearer, it's more natural, and it's what you're going to hear people actually say. You absolutely nailed it. So, we've learned the words, we've practiced using them the right way, and now it's time for the payoff. Let's see how all these little pieces we've been working on come together to tell a real, heartfelt story about a celebration.
Here we go. This is our story. Now, don't get overwhelmed if it looks like a lot of text at first. We're going to go through it piece by piece. It's a sweet little story about Father's Day, and guess what? You already know some of the most important words in there. Let's start at the beginning. The first sentence is Ana uhibbu Eid al-Ab li anna abi ahamu shaks fi hayati. And that translates to something really beautiful. I love Father's Day because my father is the most important person in my life. What a wonderful way to begin a story.
Moving on to the next part, أشتري له هدايا كثيرة ومعظم الوقت نذهب إلى مطعم هندي. And hey, look, there it is, the word we practiced, هدايا, for gifts. This whole part means I buy him lots of gifts and most of the time we go to an Indian restaurant. And the story wraps up with this final line, لأنه يشق الأكل الهندي, which simply means because he loves Indian food. And just like that, we have a complete story. You see how those individual words we learn now paint a full, personal picture? You were able to follow that from start to finish.
Wow, we have covered so much ground today. We went from single words all the way to a full story. But you know what? The real learning doesn't stop here. Now it's your turn to take everything you've learned and share your own celebration stories.
Just take a second and think about what we did. We started with just a few words and phrases. Then we figured out how to use them in the right way. And then we used all that to understand an entire paragraph. That is some serious progress, and you absolutely did it.
So, I want to leave you with this question to chew on. It could be a birthday, New Year's, a national holiday, a local festival, whatever it is, what's the very first happy memory you're going to try and put into words in Arabic? Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer. I really hope you feel fired up and ready to go share all your joyful stories. Until next time, keep practicing and keep celebrating.